everyone, and welcome back to my booktube channel, Lisa in Bookland. So, as you'll have seen from my vlog last week, I was recently in Britain for a few days. I say Britain because I went from Dublin to Wales and then ended up in England. It was a very bookish trip. My principal reason for going was to see Chatsworth House in the Peak District. And then I went to West Yorkshire to see the Bronte Parsonage mostly. So I did pick up a few things along the way. Some books, not too many books to be happy to know, but also just a lot of bookish things that I thought people might be interested in. And being the time of the year it is, maybe if you're stuck for a last minute gift, you might get some inspiration for this, because I know I very much enjoy these. So maybe just start off with the books, just in case anybody else isn't interested in the other bookish paraphernalia. So I actually bought a second-hand book. I couldn't leave this on the shelf. Where I got this was the second-hand bookshop of Hardwick Hall, which is a National Trust property. And yeah, it had a lovely little second-hand bookshop, but this caught my eye for the cover. So it's called Dover Harbour by Thomas Armstrong. I'd never heard of it, but I suppose being such a fan of books about ships and things, the title caught my eye, but then also just the cover. I just love this couple on the front looking out at the sea. So yeah, I was so intrigued, and I really look forward to read this. It was published in 1944, I think. 1942, and this edition is from 1948. So yeah, really beautiful book, and I just think it'll be really interesting. It is about, so it's set in the Napoleonic Wars. I should have mentioned that obviously attracted me as well. So it's the story of England from 1792 to 1809, tick. The action of the novel centres around the personal conflict between two men, a ship owner and a banker, as to whether Dover should decay into a commercial backwater or grow into a great port, the key to the kingdom. So yeah, I just thought that was a really interesting premise. And yeah, there actually is a kind of second generation romance in it, where between the daughter and son. So yeah, an interesting time that it was written as well, maybe when they been a similar kind of invasion scare. So I think that'll be really interesting when I get to it. So that was obviously second hand. The three books that I bought new were actually from the Bronte Parsonage. I knew I was going to buy some books when I was there, obviously. So I, of course, had to buy something by the Brontes. I already own all the Bronte novels, obviously, and I was never that intrigued by their juvenile before, or their writings that they wrote when they were young, the stories and things. But Glasstown and Angria was the other one, I think, that Emily wrote with Branwell. But then when I went to the museum and saw where they wrote their stories and saw where they grew up, when they were a bit older, and I saw their childhood possessions and their little samplers and things, I just was way more intrigued to pick them up. So yeah, I picked up this Oxford World Classics edition, the Bronte's Tales of Glasstown, Angria and Gondal. So yeah, I don't imagine I'll sit down and read this all at once. I don't even know, I probably won't read it before I read the Juliet Barker biography of them, because that would probably add a lot more to it. Or maybe I should read this beforehand. I don't even know. I'm just excited to read anything Bronte now when I've seen that. I just, all the little stories behind them, when their father brought home these pack of soldiers for Branwell, the little toy soldiers, and Charlotte picked one up and said, "This is mine, this is like the Duke of Wellington," and they made stories about the soldiers, and then the little books, they wrote the books so that they were small enough for the soldiers to read. So yes, I think it'll be really fascinating to read this, but probably a bit more academic, so maybe I need to read the biography first. No doubt I'll go back and forth a good few times. But the nice thing about all the books that I bought at the Bronte Parsonage is they actually stamp them. So you can see there that it's stamped that it was bought in the Bronte Parsonage in Haworth. So that's just really nice to have, and I wish more places did that. I did do a lot of walking across the moors and things when I was in Haworth. So I picked up this book, Walking the Invisible, Following in the Bronte's Footsteps by Michael Stewart. So yeah, this kind of goes through all the walks that you can do and their association with the Brontes, I assume. I'm aware that I probably am reading this at the wrong time. I should have read this while I was there, or before I went, but never say never. I might go back again, and they actually have walking routes at the back, which would have been really useful before I went rather than digging around on the internet. But I was very happy with the Bronte walk I did do, so I figure I want to read this when I'm in the mood to get some more like walking inspiration. And finally then there was the series that I think I'd heard mentioned only once, and I can't even remember who mentioned it, but it's a mystery series where the Bronte sisters and Branwell a little bit become like detectives to solve crimes. So I picked up this book, The Vanished Bride. I've actually already read this and I really loved it. I just thought it really brought the Brontes to life and their time. So I'm sorry I didn't pick up the rest of the books in the series now, but sure I can always read them on Kindle or get them elsewhere. But yeah, I get the special to have got this at the Bronte Parsonage. So we might as well stick with the theme of Bronte, even though that is not the order I did things in. I did of course have to pick up a bookmark. There was this artist who had a good few things there. I'm assuming that she had some kind of partnership with them. So I really like this bookmark, even though it's huge. Amanda White design. So yeah, just you can see the Bronte sisters and the parsonage, and then what I thought was really fun is you can see them up the top walking in the moors. So I very much enjoyed that. There's a little bit about Haworth in the back, so very nice bookmark. I always love to collect bookmarks. They're such cheap and useful souvenirs. By the same artist then, there was loads of prints, and I was humming and hawing about what print I should buy. They were framed and lovely, but then I saw this calendar, which is always useful to have. I hadn't got a calendar for next year yet, and it actually has 12 of them, which is wonderful. They're just like cut paper collages. Let me see what my favourite one is. I have to say I love this one of them in the snow, going to the church or going home, and you can see the sheep there by the side, so I really enjoy that one for January. So that'll be a good start to the year. And I don't know if anybody else does it this with calendars, but you kind of like not to look at them all too closely at the start, just so you can get surprises throughout the year. But I have cheated a little bit. Like, look at this one. I love this. Again, them out in the moors. I just thought it was so nice. Sorry about the shine. There we go. Yeah, it's such a nice calendar, and this will give me joy throughout the year. More printed material, and so I did buy some postcards. I do love to buy postcards and stick them up on my wall. As part of one of my walks, I did walk to Top Within, and just this beautiful painting of it by Paul Bell, and it's from the Gatehouse collection. And there's also this one of like the parsonage itself and the nearby road. So yeah, I just thought they were really beautiful, and that's by the same artist as well, Pat Bell. And finally from the Brontes then, so I never even knew this existed. I had seen from various people the equivalent of this for Jane Austen and Charles Dickens. But I never knew there was a Bronte one, and I absolutely love this. Look at this beautiful mug. It's the only one of these mugs I have, but I brought this into the office today, and I was drinking out of it. It gave me a lot of joy. But yeah, of course, my favourite is Villette. Look at the nun. Very entertaining, and also I must say I enjoy the Jane and Mr. Rochester one where he's holding his head when he's fallen off his horse. And also look at this book I've recently been rereading. Really fun little drawings that really capture them to some extent, the main characters of the novel. I would have liked more characters from Villette, but they have limited space. But it does have the three sisters and their real names obviously, and their pen names, as well as their dates of birth and death, the publication dates of all of the books, and also it actually has this picture of Branwell down the bottom painting the pillar portrait, which I think is a really fun detail. So very much enjoying this mug. So I'm actually saying them in the wrong order. Like, I went to the Peak District first, and I did go to Chatsworth. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go inside the house, as you'll have heard from the vlog, but they did have the gift shop open, so I did spend a little bit of money in there. I knew it was going to happen, it was fine. But the first thing I saw, and I was delighted to see them, is I already have these lovely dolls of Frederick Wentworth and Anne Elliot, but they did have the Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth Bennet ones, which I thought was really fun, even though I think it's so funny that he is so much taller. It's like, I think they'll be best off not hanging too close together. In my head, Elizabeth isn't that short, but I have probably just seen the Keira Knightley adaptation too many times. But but yeah, I'm just really glad to have those, and I'll definitely keep picking them up whenever I come across them if I ever go to Chawton again or anything. So I won't bother boring you with them all, but there were so many Christmas decorations around. I bought loads in charity shops actually. I bought beautiful Christmas decorations, and that had obviously never been used in charity shops. I don't have my own house or my own tree yet, but I will be well prepared when I do. But the one bookish one that I did buy, look at this, it is this heart pendant, but it has Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy in front of Chatsworth. I just love it. It's so cute. To be honest, I think I will probably keep this up all year. The same with the little dolls. I don't think, although it's probably supposed to be a Christmas decoration, I completely think that it's acceptable to leave out all year. It is the same on both sides. It would be nice if there's a different design, but we can't ask for too much. And yes, I also bought a matching pendant that didn't have Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth on it and was maybe more of a daytime theme, but yes. And then finally, I actually read the biography of Georgiana, Duchess of Devonshire, while I was over there, and I saw this mug, which I thought was lovely. Again, it has Chatsworth on it, but look at this. Look at the fabulous dress. It was beautiful, and even look at the tiger in the garden. It's just kind of a picture of Georgian excesses, and yeah, you can see them having tea here at a table. So I just loved the creativity of this mug. It's beautiful. And that is a design called Tea and Biscuits on the Lawn, designed exclusively by Lucy Lovehart. So I just really liked that one as well. So that's all the things that I bought in Chatsworth. However, I know I'm not the only person on BookTube that likes tea, and I suppose it's one of the luxuries of working from home. I actually like to have my tea in teacups. Sometimes I'll just make a pot of tea and have that pot of tea in the morning while I'm going through my emails. It's a little luxury I allow in my life. And I saw, anybody that watches this channel knows that I really love ships. People think it's strange that I get the ferry to Britain even when I'm not driving sometimes, but I actively enjoy the ferry. But yes, I saw this teacup and saucer, one of my many finds in charity shops. For it was what was it, £8.50, so I suppose expensive enough. I couldn't leave it behind. Look at that, a beautiful little teacup and saucer with a ship on it, and there's a ship on the saucer as well. So it's Spode, England. I'd never heard of that brand before, but yeah, I know that I'll get a lot of joy out of drinking out of this. And I did actually, as you've heard, visit Wedgwood. I'm not nearly wealthy enough to have bought a lot there, but I did treat myself to one teacup. I do have two Wedgwood teacups and saucers that I bought at a market once for quite cheaply, but I just thought the cream was beautiful, and sadly I suppose the Queensware as it's called, has kind of got a fashion a bit. It's more patterned now, but they did have this, and it just happened to be the cheapest one in the showroom as well. It is actually my favourite. This lovely teacup and saucer. So I treated myself to that. I had tea out of this morning, and I very much enjoyed it. It's heavy enough that it doesn't feel too fragile, and nice big teacup as well, and just lovely textures. So I do love my teacups. I have some of my parents' wedding china, but it's nice to kind of have your own as well, and I don't really care about matching. And finally, any other china aficionados knows that the most famous thing about Wedgwood probably is their Jasperware. I definitely cannot afford to buy any Jasperware china new, but I did find this. I don't even know what it is. Somebody told me it's probably like an ashtray, but it was again like £2 or £3 at a charity shop. It actually is proper Jasperware, and the makers of it, they actually get to stamp it with their initials, so yeah, it's been stamped in the back, and I actually have been using this for sponge matches, so I can throw them in the fire later. So I do have a use for this that's not too far divorced from its actual use, and I think things are meant to be used no matter how expensive they are, so I don't really feel too bad using it for quite a mundane purpose. I'm sure the original maker would be horrified. I did buy some other things, as I said, some non-bookish decorations. I bought this cardigan for like £2 or £3. It's very kind of 40s, or else like something my granny would wear, but I don't even care. It's very warm. And yes, I also bought like some pictures for my house when it is built, but they were the kind of bookish things I bought. I hope this was mildly entertaining for you. I thought it would be a nice short little video. What are your favourite bookish things to buy? I love buying bookmarks. I was kind of puzzled when I went to Chatsworth. I was I was definitely going to buy a bookmark to use when I was reading Pride and Prejudice, and they didn't have any bookmarks. Apart from those like leather ones with a don't have any picture on them, I wasn't a huge fan, and so I definitely left it in their online survey afterwards. So if you visit and you see bookmarks there, let's pretend that was my input. But yes, that is it for now. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Thursday for my next video.